Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam, rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to welcome to our program here at Sharjah Media Corporation. Getting closer to Allah, getting to know your Lord and understand Him, who He is, what it is that we should be doing in relationship to Him. What does He expect from us? What does He give us? We need to know this. And of course, there are many people who are confused about this today, and I don't blame them. There's a tremendous amount of effort being made globally to keep people in darkness and to confuse them. And of course, ultimately, who was there, regardless of who we point the finger at, ultimately is Satan. And even Satan has gone as far as to make people not believe that He exists. A lot of people say, oh, that's just fiction, man. This is a story tale. That's like Santa Claus, you know. But that is not the case, unfortunately. Satan will be there until your last dying breath, and his sole intention is to have you commit yourself to what? The disbelief in the oneness of Allah. This is sole intention, from the time that you're born to the time that you die, to have you die in disbelief so you can do what? You can be in hellfire with Him. Now people say, well, you know, I have my own religion, brother. I like to hear you talk, you know, but you know, I'm doing my own thing and I don't believe in that Satan. I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe in the angels and, you know, all this, you know, I don't believe in this stuff. It's prefabricated. Well, we all have choices. And I don't suggest that you wait until it's too late, meaning that your choices in this world will be over. And the only choice you will have is in the grave when you have to answer the angels. And they will ask you. Now people say, oh, well, brother, I don't believe in angels. When you go to the grave, brother, you know, it's just dust, man. Look, we dug up graves. All we see is bones and bugs. Come on. Come on. What are you talking about here? Well, okay, let's listen. Allah says in the Quran, every soul shall have a taste of death. So we need to understand, you know, what does that mean? That none of us leaves this world alive. What is waiting for us depends on how we live in this life. The proof of it is the Prophet ﷺ, he told us about what is going on in the grave. Now, some people say, well, you know, that's your point of view. You know, you're a Muslim. I'm a Christian. I'm a Jew. I'm a Hindu. I'm a Buddhist. I'm an atheist. You know, all of those things and combinations thereof, or whatever the person might believe, that's fine. But if we look at it from this perspective, the monotheistic religions, meaning the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, all believe in God. Some of them have it confused, but ultimately their books say to believe in the one God and worship Him only. Many people have gone astray from this, but it's clearly documented. Jesus ﷺ brought it. This is what He said. Moses ﷺ, he brought it. That's what he said. Muhammad ﷺ, that's what he said. So people had the choices, but they're choosing as they like, as you're saying. You know, today I don't want to do this, man. I want to go out and have fun. Why do I have to stay in this state that I'm in? Why do I have to be like my life is in a straitjacket? Everybody out here is having a ball, having a good time. So why is it that I have to do this? So ask yourself this question. What is at stake if you don't do it? Let's see what Allah says in this Surah Ashura, verse number 20. This is the consultation is a translation of this particular surah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Whoever desires the reward of the hereafter, we shall give him an increase in his reward. And whoever desires the tillage of the life of this world, we shall give him of it. So you have choices. If you're distracted by what you see people obtaining and maintaining and professing that this is the life that I'm offering you, that this life is great and I'm enjoying it to the max, you have a choice. If that is what you want to spend your time and energy pursuing, fine. But you will have to account. Everyone will come to account for whatever it is that he had in this world. So we need to think about this. We need to at least think about the balance, okay? And for you people out there who are in doubt about what I'm saying, then just listen for a little while, and I'll ask you, a particular person who is an atheist, or if you know someone who's an atheist, or an idol worshiper, then call them up, tell them to listen to what we're talking about, or talk to them. Some people say, well, I've been talking to this guy for years, he doesn't listen. But you never know. That guy on his deathbed may say, I realize now what you're saying is true, I accept Islam. So you don't give up on the person, don't give up on anybody who's out there. Right now, people are trapped in many instances, and they don't know how to get out of those traps. So if you're calling the people to Allah, you're offering them an alternative, a huge alternative, which they cannot understand in the beginning, but it's a huge alternative to their present lifestyle. And the invitation that most people today are receiving, the lifestyles are tainted in one way or another. Even if it is something that the person may do that's very beneficial to our society, people may get great benefit from, but within the mechanism that he has to work, there may be some corruption. So that even though he has this talent, the environment that he has to be in to pursue this may not be very good. So he has to make a choice, or parents have to make a choice. My child is very bright. He's received a scholarship to such and such a big university. It's famous. Okay? Everybody who graduates from this university does well in whatever department that they're going to work in, or whatever their profession is, because they're highly recognized. But at the same time, this university is filled with a kind of confusion. The young people there, they like to drink, they like to party, they like to fornicate, some of them are into drugs, as an example. I'm just giving you a few incidents. So now you have the decision to make. Do I really want to take a chance putting my child into that environment and hoping and praying that he comes or she comes out clean? And now we go to the person and says, well, what is clean? I don't understand. What is clean? When you say what is clean, because this, again, people today do not have values, or their values are questionable. They are not values which they have adjusted based on the Quran and the Sunnah, the life of the Prophet ﷺ. So as a result, many people, millions, are in total confusion about what is right and what is wrong. So we need to know that. We need to know that. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, more or less, wish for your brother what you wish for yourself. This is huge. It's very simple, but it's very deep. Think about it. How many of us really do this? Even your blood brother, how many of us don't have this jealousy? Well, you know, he's my brother or she's my sister and she's doing great. We were always, very close, but, I was always smarter than him or smarter than him, but he's doing fine and right now my situation is not very good. So this becomes a huge test for you, doesn't it? So you should wish for your brother. Just as you're wishing that your situation would improve, you should wish the same for your brother. And if you have a good situation, you should say, oh, well, no, I'm going to cut those guys off now, because those guys, if they come up here, they're going to surpass me. Some of those guys are much smarter than I have. They're more experienced than me. Man, I'm going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose whatever benefit that I have. Right now, I'm ahead of the game. If these guys come, they may shut me down. No, we shouldn't think like that. We should think that everybody's sustenance, Allah has written it. When you will get it, Allah has written it. How you will get it, Allah has written it. We do not know. So we should believe that our sustenance will be provided for as long as we live, inshallah ta'ala. We should believe this fully, and we should beg Allah to see and to make this easy for us and for our families, wherever it is that we live in the world. And we should wish this for others. And of course, the biggest wish is for the world. That the world know about Allah. That the whole world worships Allah in the way that He has prescribed. The whole world sees clearly through Islam is their salvation in this world and the hereafter. And ultimately, salvation after leaving this life. So some people become confused by this when we say, well, you know, the shaitan is going to be with you. To your dying breath, he's trying to convince you to be astray. He's throwing things in your path, especially when you become weakened. And weakened meaning weakened in your belief, in obedience and implementation. So we should think, and you people out there who are calling yourself atheists, I was talking to one brother who was from Europe. He's a nuclear physicist. And you know, many of the people who, throughout these arguments, they think, well, logically this and logically that, and I'm a scientific person and so forth. And he told me, he said, more or less, brother, there's no nuclear physicist who doesn't know that there is God. It's not possible, if he's true, that he doesn't know this. And for some very simple reasons. Let's just keep it very simple. Everyone knows this. You don't have to be a nuclear physicist to figure it out. You cannot make something from nothing. Nothing from nothing is nothing. Nothing on the side, nothing plus nothing is nothing. So you can't make something here from nothing here, or vice versa. If there's a zero here, there's a zero there. That's it. They're equal to zeros. They cannot change. So how is it possible that if we take the human being as an example, something as complex as a human being, does this come from simple egg and a sperm, which you cannot see except an electronic microscope? If we think about it, and if you think about, you know, some of the people that we have in this world, if you look at some of these guys who they call them the strongest men in the world, and they're like 150 kg, 180 kg, you know, these guys are huge, okay? If you look at that man and you see how powerful is the guy's pulling an airplane or pulling a tractor trailer, subhanAllah. If we see how powerful these men are. If you look in a microscope and you see just an egg and this, what is creation from semen? Well, if we look at that in a microscope and we look at this huge, monstrous man, powerful, there's no way that we can conceive that that would turn into this. You would look and say, it's not possible. How could that be? How can the two be? So how can that just happen? As an example. Or just anything. Prove that it can, zero can become one. Simple. How is it possible? Or 0 plus 1 becomes 1. Okay? But 0 does not equal 1. There's a very big difference. So people know these things, that you can't create something from nothing. It is not possible. There has to be something here before you can get to that process. So how is it that we can change it? If we look at something as delicate as the universe, as huge as it is, and how delicate it is it possible that this could exist on its own? How? Show me something that does. It's not possible. And we all know it's not possible. So the people who are in denial about the existence of Allah, they're satisfying their desires. It gives them an excuse to do whatever it is that they want to do. Bottom line, gives them an excuse to do whatever they want to do and feel like they don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to follow these rules and regulations. You're telling me, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I want to do it. I'm my own man. I don't need anybody to tell me what I need to do, what I can't do. I want to enjoy my life. I want to do these things that I enjoy. I don't want to do anything to hurt anyone, harm anyone, no. But what I enjoy, I enjoy. So why are you saying, for instance, the things that I enjoy, I can't do them? See, why do I have to have these restrictions? I don't want to be restricted. So that is the condition of many of the people. And let's see what Allah says in Surah Al-Layl, this is the night, verses 5 through 10. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. As for him who gives in charity, keeps his duty to Allah and fears him, and believes in Al-Husna, that means that which is best. We shall facilitate for him the easy way. But as for he who is greedy, miser, and thinks himself self-sufficient, and disbelieves in that which is the best, we shall facilitate for him the way of adversity. So we find many people, as you know, in the world like this, that they say, well, listen, man, you know, what are you saying? I'm doing my thing, brother. I'm doing my thing. And Surah Al-Araf, Allah says in verses 27 and 28, say certainly, Allah doesn't enjoin abomination. How can you say about God that which you don't know? Say, my Lord has enjoined justice and righteousness, and be steadfast in your worship and invoke him alone. So this is what Allah is calling us to do. Just, be righteous, be steadfast, and worshiping Allah, and invoke Allah only. Very simple. So people ask, what is Allah's requirements? These are simply Allah's requirements. So people say, yeah, man, but you know, I can't do that. You know, I have these other things that I do and that I like to do, and I enjoy it and I have a good time. So, you know, hey, and you say I'm going to be punished for that? Why? Allah created me. Allah knows what I'm going to do. Why is that? Yes. But Allah has given you the ability to know, given you the knowledge and the opportunity to know and to pursue. And that's every person's responsibility. Regardless of where he's born, whatever set of circumstances may be, he has that responsibility to find out for himself or herself. If he or she cannot, then he is only held accountable based on his knowledge. But he has the responsibility of pursuing knowledge, not just to sit down and not to work and to engage himself and try to understand what role he should be playing in his relationship with his Lord, for his own salvation and for the sake of his family. We should not be among those people who are neglectful. There was one of the popular motivational speakers in America, and I heard him tell a story. He was saying more or less, you know, I married a girl who I loved so much, and she was a dream girl for me. I never thought she'd be the girl for me. I married her, and then after being married for several years, she died. And when she died, it crushed me. I went into a deep hole. Okay, but Allah shined some light in his heart, and who was it? His mentor, his father. His father inspired him, and through being inspired by his father, who was a simple man, but obviously very deep in his understanding, helped him come out of that hole. And now he's inviting other people to come out of that hole. So similarly, we're inviting you to come out of the darkness of depression and deceit, misfortune, misunderstanding, and to come to the light of truth. And that ultimately should be the goal and aspiration of every Muslim, that every person in this world gets the invitation to the oneness of Allah, to know who is Allah. Of course, it is by choice. There's no compulsion. But if we think about this, Allah says more or less in the Quran, which of your Lord's favors would you deny? The person says, well, you know, I had a tough life, man. You know, I had a tough life, and life wasn't easy for me. And I ask you a question about that. The life that you had that was difficult, was there benefit in it? Now that you're an adult, did you benefit from it? How did you benefit from it? If you look at other people and you make comparative analysis between your life and theirs, those people had it easy and everything was a piece of cake, and yours was extremely difficult. If you look at the benefits that you got from it, did they have the same benefits? Ask yourself that question. And I've seen that in many instances, and that generally is not the case. It's not equal. That along with hardship and difficulty, there are certain qualities that we have to develop to survive it, to engage it, to embrace it, not to submit to it, to move forward and to do positive things in our life, to impact other people who are facing the same challenges. Because now we understand this challenge. Even in the beginning, maybe we didn't understand it. We were confused about it. We said, oh, Allah, why is the situation like this? Oh, Allah, please help me in this situation. Oh, Allah, I can't do this. You can do this. You can change this for me. You can help me overcome this. I cannot do it alone. So as an example, the person develops a very personal and strong relationship with Allah. And that's what all of us need. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to thank you for joining us here at Sharjah Media Corporation. Getting to know Allah, getting closer to Allah. And by Allah's permission, He will grant all of us His mercy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.